company with 3 locations in Nebraska. One of the original Schrock Innovations, first ever in Lincoln, Nebraska, 27th and Pine Lake Road. In Papillion, Nebraska, on the corner of 84th and Highway 370. And, of course, in Omaha, 168th and Burke. Also, worldwide on the internet, SchrockInnovations.com, and online support and assistance through the Schrock Desk. Which a lot of people go to the Schrock Desk and they try to just sign into the Schrock Desk. Like, I need help. I go to Schrock Desk and I need a code. Like, you have to call us first to get the code, and then we can help you on the Schrock Desk, you see. So if you need help on the Schrock Desk, if you're not geographically close to a Schrock service center, perhaps you're in Des Moines, for example, and you want to get that help from Schrock, we can still help you out. We can still get you set up with Endpoint. We can still get you set up with all kinds of products and services going forward. All you have to do is give us a call, one of our service centers, or just like now, you can call 866-496-8772 and ask a question or make a comment. We'll get you on the air here with your question or comment, and basically get you a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate, or at least the chance of winning one, that you can use for anything your heart desires over at the service center. So please do take the time to call if you have a question. The callers do make the program. I'm sure that I can talk the whole hour. I've done it before, but the show is much more interesting when we have that interaction. And usually what happens is the first half hour of the show, we don't have very many calls. Everyone says, Thor, you're talking a lot. Why aren't you taking calls? Because I don't have any calls right now. 866-496-8772. Here comes the first call now. But you see, at the end of the show, with 10 minutes to go, everybody calls, and I have no time to take the calls. So it's kind of like, do you have time for your health or health for your time? It's one of those paradoxes of life, apparently. All right, so let's get started on what we got going on today. We have a lot to do, actually. I'm sure you've heard something or other in the news about the China tariffs that have been imposed over the last week. So basically, it was kind of funny. There was a little bit of a dilemma because, the Trump administration said, so basically Thursday night at midnight, Friday morning, 12:01 a.m., we're going to impose these, tariffs on Chinese imported goods. And China responded that they would immediately, at the same time, impose the exact same tariffs on American goods. But the problem is, there was a logistical issue here and a perception issue. Because you see, right now in China, it's tomorrow. They're 12 time zones ahead of us. Now, I don't know who decided if they were ahead or behind or how that ever got figured out. There's probably some UN treaty or something. No, I'm ahead of you. No, we're ahead of you. I don't know. But apparently China is 12 time zones ahead of us. So right now in China, it's 12 hours further in the future than it is here. So if they were going to impose their sanctions at 12:01 a.m. on Friday morning, they would actually be firing the first shot of a trade war because they're 12 hours in the future. And then we would follow with our tariffs, 12 hours later. Well, China couldn't have that, right? I mean, the perception there is bad. So they said, well, we're not going to launch them first. So they waited till noon China time. Now, these poor employees in China, it's got to be rough to be in a communist country. It really does. Because if you screw up, you just get disappeared from the picture. It's not fun. And there's so many people that don't worry, we'll make more, So, oh my gosh, what do? We come to work at 8 in the morning and there's all these American goods that need to get processed in. But the Americans imposed tariffs, and China said the moment that America's imposed tariffs, we need to impose tariffs. But wait, that doesn't happen for 12 hours yet. So from 8 to noon, do we process these goods like normal? And then from noon to close, we impose the tariffs? What about the American goods that have already paid their import taxes? They're just waiting to be processed. In other words, they could have been processed yesterday. We just didn't get time. So do we now have to go back and reprocess those goods with tariffs attached? The poor employees didn't have any guidance from the central party, basically, to tell them what to do. So they erred on the side of caution like any good bureaucrat would do, and they didn't process any American goods the entire day until the tariffs hit. Then they tariffed the heck out of everything because they figured that's probably what the dear leaders want us to do. So, okay, so that's taken care of. Now we have tariffs. Now, how is this going to impact us in America? We've been watching this really closely at Schrock because here's the thing. A 25% tariff on the things that we import from China are typically low-cost items. We're importing microchips. We're importing LED bulbs. This is not, it's not like when China slaps a tariff on a General Motors car that's 25%, and the price of the car goes up 25%, oh my gosh, that's going to change your purchase decision, right? The problem is, I don't know that anyone in America makes LED bulbs. And maybe there is somebody that makes LED bulbs in America, but I think they're all made overseas. So if they go up 25% in cost, you're just going to have to shoulder the burden. So in the end, tariffs do hit individuals. So the logic there that the free traders are like tariffs are bad because the consumer ends up paying in the end is true. But the challenge here is, and it goes way deeper than this. I'm not going to get into the geopolitics and the financial, what do they call that? Basically, yes, we have a trade deficit with China, but that money comes back to the United States as financial investment that pushes our financial markets higher. So we have a financialization of our trade deficit, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So, I mean, we could go a whole show on it, and I'm definitely not the qualified guy to tell you about that. The guy I am, though, is the guy that's qualified to tell you that the price of your hard drive is going to go up 25%. Hard drives are one of the things that are on the list. The price of LED bulbs, up 25%. Now, here's the question. Are we talking, I mean, and this is the thing, maybe somebody out there knows more about trade wars than me, and they could call in 866-496-8772 and let me know what the case might be. But if there is somebody out there who does, please do call. But, okay, so I don't buy like a package of LED bulbs. Now, I'm thinking there's LED light bulbs, like the ones you screw in. Remember when we put the ban on incandescent light bulbs and everybody was going to go LED, and we put all the American light bulb factories out of business because they couldn't make their Edison bulbs anymore? Now we have to buy the LED bulbs. I think that's what they mean because all those come from China, the LED bulbs. So now we're going to buy LED bulbs. But I'm thinking about all the devices that have LEDs in them. Now, do those get taxed? Or is it the final product that gets tariffed? I'm not sure. I'm guessing it's the final product. But, so for example, LED bulbs are in everything. They're in your computer case that you get that has the power light and the blinking activity light. Those are LED bulbs. They are in your monitor, so your laptop screen or your flat panel monitor. They're almost all LED based now, so they're in that. Let's see, on your hard drive itself, there are LEDs. On your motherboard, there are LEDs. There are LEDs in just about anything. Anything that blinks is pretty much an LED now. So, wow, that's a lot of stuff. Let's see. Computer hard drives, LEDs, 818 categories of products. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty rough. Of course, everyone's focused on the automotive stuff because the auto parts are really going to go up 25%, and that's gonna hurt because that's an expensive product. But the bottom line here is, the prices are going to get a little wonky, and more importantly, the supply chain is going to get a little wonky. One of the things that's included in those 818 different products are memory chips. Now, you think memory, what's with a memory chip? Pretty much any electronic device you buy has a memory chip in it of some sort. So your car, your computers in your car have basically flash memory chips. Your flash drive has memory chips. Your solid-state hard drive has memory chips. Your not solid-state hard drive has memory chips. Pretty much everything has a memory chip in it now. Your cell phone has memory chips in it. So if those memory chips, the price of memory overall was going down because we just got out of a huge shortage. Everybody was bringing new factories online as all these cell phones were coming out and using up all the memory chips, and then the graphics cards were coming out and all the miners were buying them, and that was using up all the graphics memory chips. So there was a huge demand for memory chips, and it took like a year. This started in 2017. It took a year for all the factories to catch up. Every customers are like, what's taking so long on my bill? Well, we're waiting on a graphics card. We're waiting on memory. We're trying to get the stuff here, but it's in shortage. This year, finally, the shortages were going away, and now there's going to be tariffs on all those items. And this is the first salvo, so on and so forth. We're going to set the political stuff aside, and we're not going to argue should we or shouldn't we have tariffs. The reason I'm bringing this up right now is because I want you to realize that overall, over time, the cost of computers has gone down. And the main reason for this is because new technologies have come along that allows manufacturers to make things ever so smaller, ever so cheaper. Which is why when you go out and you buy that new HP desktop computer now, it's not like it used to be. You're getting a laptop motherboard bolted into a big box of air. And when you buy it and you take it home, And we'll have customers that buy them for their office and they only have 4 gigs of RAM in them, which isn't enough for your office work. So they bring them into us after that because, you know, they're $100 cheaper than a modular build. So if we're going to buy 4, we could save $400. Then we'll take them into Schrock, have them add the memory, we'll be good to go. The problem is we can't add memory. There's no memory ports. Those $500 laptops, even the $500 laptop, the solid-state laptop that we offer at Schrock, is chip on board now. Because everything in that price point is now chip on board. It can't be upgraded. It can't be changed. It can't be fixed. It gets thrown away when it dies. But people have had this belief for so long, I'm just going to buy a new one anyway. There's no reason for me to spend a little extra money to get something that can be fixed, because when it breaks, it's going to be so outdated, I'm just going to throw it away and buy a new one anyway. 866-496-8772. Now, the challenge we have in modern technology is stuff still breaks. Because it's ever so smaller, it's ever more sensitive to surges and damage and things like that. Customers, you know, with your laptop, most people don't use surge protectors on laptops because it's portable. You're carrying it around with you. Why would you carry a giant surge protector around with you? And furthermore, even if you did carry a giant surge protector or one of those little ones that for laptops, you know, you got to replace those annually, right? Annually at a minimum. So yeah, if you haven't replaced it in a year, you probably need to. So the challenge we have here is stuff still breaks. So the 18 to 24 month replacement cycle lives on, except now we can't fix your stuff anymore. So people who think I'm just going to buy this cheap computer because I'm going to buy a new one anyway, they're still thinking in terms of their last computer that was upgradable, that had thicker circuitry, that had more dense microprocessors. Things weren't as fragile. They're thinking, well, that one lasted me 5 years. This one here, this new one I'll get for $500 should last me another 5, right? No. When we tell you they're going to last you 18 to 24 months, I bet you there are people right now that could call into 866-496-8772, and they will tell you all the different brands. They will tell you Dell. They will tell you HP. They will tell you Samsung or Toshiba or Sony. They'll tell you any brand of laptop or computer that they had died after 18 months. And the cost to fix it, if it was fixable, was prohibitive, so they bought a new one. So you get locked into this cycle where you're buying a new computer every 2 years. Get out of the cycle, guys. And we can help you do that at Schrock. So we can help you out. So this isn't a big commercial for our modular computers. It kind of turned into that, I guess. But wasn't my intent. My intent was, if you're in the market for a new computer, the cost of your computer is not going to jump 25%. It's just not, okay? The cost of certain components will, and we're watching it very, very closely. Because when we sell a 4 gig stick of RAM at our shop for $80, right now our cost for that RAM is $81.99. Last week it was $74.99. So the prices are starting to tick up a little bit, and we're already seeing it in the wholesale channel. Usually it takes a little time. They have to work through inventories, but everybody has a just-in-time inventory system now. So when a new tariff gets put into place, those prices get passed on very, very quickly. So as a result, you're going to see the prices of things get tweaked a little bit, and it's going to be tweaked a little bit to the higher side. And as we all know, just like with gas prices, they always go up really, really fast. But it takes a long time for them to come back down for some reason. I don't understand that. But that's life, I guess. 866-496-8772 in the shops this week. You guys have asked me for a weekly shop update, so we're going to give you an update on that, tell you which service centers are busy, which ones are not, which ones will give you the fastest turnaround time. Also, if you haven't already joined us, you can join us on Facebook. Good morning, Bill and Roger and Leslie. Thanks for joining us online and saying hello. We appreciate it. Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, where the show is streaming live. In the service centers this week, the Lincoln Service Center is officially out of queue, which is good. We are in the summer doldrums, which is why every week I get on here and I tell you, if you bought one of those preventative maintenance checkup certificates while that sale was going on, they're about 3 months old now, about halfway used up in their lifespan. Now is the time to bring them in if you want fast turnaround times. The Omaha Service Center is also out of queue. Same story there. They've got open bench spots, which means you can come in if you drop your computer off. You know, today, we're open Saturday from 10 to 8, Sunday from noon to 5. If you want to bring it in Monday, you can. Mondays are usually pretty busy in the mornings especially. You can drop that off in the service center. We can get you up and running. In fact, which is kind of a good thing, the Data Recovery Center actually doesn't have a queue right now. We don't have a line of people pending evaluations. We have a couple, but no, nothing that we're not going to be able to knock through really quickly on Monday for everybody. So if you have a hard drive or some kind of data device that's failing, now's the time to bring that into the service center. We can get you a free evaluation, no cost there, tell you how much it's going to cost to get your data back off those devices. So that's pretty cool there as well. Schrock Interactive, as always, has capacity available. If you're thinking about a website, we can get that taken care of for you. Everything just kind of slows down a little bit in the summertime in the computer repair industry. And not just computer repair, but all around. For example, right now, businesses, businesses that do, Christmassy stuff, they're starting to get ramped up for that. They're starting to figure out what we need to order, where it's going to come from. We're working with our suppliers right now on the holiday special, getting things lined up for that. We're not really talking about it yet. And, we haven't finalized anything, so don't ask. But, we're getting this stuff, we're getting these things, these pieces put together, making sure the credit lines are available, making sure that everything is ready to go. So businesses right now aren't really thinking about the actual operation of that time of year. But this is the time to do that. If you're thinking about new computers for your office or your operation, don't do that when you're busy. Do it when you're slow. If you're thinking about a website update, don't do it when you have a ton of traffic. Do it when you have a little bit of traffic. That way, when the traffic comes back, your website buoys up. All sorts of stuff in the news this week too. So we're going to be talking this week a little bit about new password stealing malware. Woo! Yeah, that's new. New way for them to steal your password. We love that. Last week we told you about copyright laws from the European Union that were going to destroy the internet. We do have an update on that story. Hopefully, all hope is not lost there. We talked a little bit about trade wars here already. Phone apps. This was a big story this weekend. This is one of those things that broke in the tech news cycle and almost instantly made it to the national news circuit. Phone applications. So the programs you download on your phone are listening and watching what you're doing with your phone, and there is no privacy setting to turn that off. In fact, you agree to it when you install the apps. So we're going to tell you what's going on there and what you can do about it. Also, if you're a Gmail user, there's a folklore story about back in the day, what Gmail would do is they would read all the email. And then they would serve you ads based on your email that were supposed to be of interest to you. The algorithm wasn't perfect. For example, a woman receiving condolences of the death of her dog, her long-beloved family pet, was immediately seeing ads for getting new puppies. Hashtag too soon. Not cool, Google. Come on. How did Google know her dog? She was ready to market for a new puppy? Well, her dog died. Yeah. I mean, does it work the same way for the Russian bride ads? If you're a widower, did you get an ad like Russian brides, like hashtag too soon. So now though, Google swear they don't read your email, but they also don't guarantee that other people aren't reading it for you. And so we're going to tell you, if you're using Gmail, this is the reason I switched off Gmail a long time ago. We're going to tell you what's going on over there as well as your calls, 866-496-8772. Got to take the first break of the show, but when we come back, Linda and Jeffrey, your calls are coming up on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations repair technicians also make house calls. Make an appointment and let us bring our award-winning computer support right to your home or business. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs, and all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. Compute This Pro Tip 423. Everyone knows you need an antivirus and firewall program for your computer, but which one is the best? Should you use the free ones, pay for a commercial product, or maybe even the free stuff your internet service provider gives you? The absolute worst thing you can do is to install nothing. Windows 10 comes with Windows Defender, but Microsoft never intended it to be your primary antivirus product. Free antivirus like AVG or Avast are more effective than Windows Defender, but Consumer Reports ranks the free antivirus products in the middle of the pack when compared to their commercial competitors. As for the free software from your internet provider, forget about it. It's designed to protect their network, not your computer. There are two products that trade the crown for best antivirus software year after year. Schrock recommends Symantec products like Endpoint, but the Russian-made Kaspersky antivirus program also does an outstanding job. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. We are back. My throat has been re-lubricated. This cold that's going around, I got to tell you guys, this is a killer. I don't go down for nothing. I don't get sick. This is now, it started 2 Sundays ago, so this is now the start of week 3, and I still have like a sore throat, coffee. I mean, I'm eating cough drops. When did I turn into my grandma? I remember Grandma Cavey. You know, you're a little kid and you're going into Grandma Cavey's purse because you're looking for a Starlight Mint, and the first time you accidentally pull out a cough drop and eat it, yeah, that serves you right for rooting through Grandma's purse without permission. You know, you got a cough drop, boom. Oh, man. I don't know. It's rough, though. 866-496-8772. If you're out sick with this cold thing, I encourage you to go to the Doc in the Box. That's what we call the doctors at the grocery stores, the Doc in the Box, because you can get in and out really quick. You don't have to make a huge appointment. If you have the kids, it's easy. But I'm going in today because my mother and father-in-law went in. They're like, oh, yeah, it's going around. And they gave him a steroid and basically diagnosed him with walking pneumonia, and I can't stop coughing. And I'm like, what's a productive cough for the most part? But, man, I hope I don't have walking pneumonia. I mean, nothing says youth is escaping you like, yep, here, Sonny, I guess you got walking pneumonia. Oh, boy. 866-496-8772. All right, so into those phones real quick. Oh, there we go. Linda, you're the first caller of the show today. How can I help you on Compute This?
Well, I just want to make a comment and thank you for the reminder on my endpoint to renew.
Oh, no problem. You mean the phone call?
The phone call, and then I got the email also, so I appreciate you doing that for me.
Well, gotcha. Now, when you renewed your endpoint, Linda, did you opt into the automatic renewal, or do you have us call you every year?
I think it's just been called. I've never had that other.
Gotcha. Yeah, we have something new that we're doing now. Unless they're really busy. If the staff is really busy, like if the phones are ringing off the hook when you call in, sometimes they won't take the time to go through that process with you. But if they have the time to do it, they should offer you the setup for the automatic renewal. And it's kind of neat because then we don't have to send you the reminder call. It just renews. You get an email telling you it's going to renew. It's managed through your Schrock account. So you can, if you want to cancel it, you just log in and cancel it. If you want to change your credit card number, you can log in and change it. It's pretty cool, pretty straightforward stuff. And part of our, we need a cool name for it. Like China has like the One China policy and the China 2025 initiative, and America has MAGA. Yeah. Make America great again. That's what we got. And Schrock needs like the Schrock Easy Renewal 2020 initiative. We'll have to send that to the marketing department, Linda. But once we have that figured out, we'll be sure to tell you what it is.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Hey, thank you for the call, Linda. I appreciate you hanging on the line there, and thanks for letting us know that you appreciate those calls. Those calls always make me nervous. In fact, I got a call the other day from a customer who was upset with us because they'd missed the maintenance checkup sale. Because we send out emails, but apparently their Gmail sent it to promotions, and technically it was a promotional email, so I can't really complain. But they sent it to promotions, and so they didn't see it. And they said, well, last year you called us and told us about it. I'm like, yeah, we did. And some people appreciated those calls, but a lot of people didn't appreciate those calls. And then the problem with the robocalls is I don't want to call people who don't want to get calls. And so we make sure we have a legit, we'll add you to the do not call list. And we actually do add you to our do not call list. And that do not call list is a global do not contact me for anything list. So if I send calls to people who don't want calls and they opt out of contacts, they don't get reminders for anything. They don't get contacted for anything. Their endpoint ends up expiring. Then they're mad at us because their endpoint expires because they didn't want the calls about maintenance checkups. And it sounds kind of like a bum deal, like it's all or nothing. You have to get all the reminder calls and the promotional ones, or you don't get any. Unfortunately, that's kind of kind of the way it works. Now, in the new Schrock Innovations 2025 initiative for complete corporate contact clarity, see, we're working this. The new system that Schrock Interactive is developing for us will manage different methods of contact, so you can opt in or out of individual methods without compromising the other ones, so that you get what's ideally designed for you, is what we're working toward. But in the meantime, we're dealing with 21st century tech here, guys. So yeah, it's an all or nothing right now. So we try not to send calls unless we have to. 866-496-8772. Now, she was talking about the Endpoint product. One thing we don't call on is Secure Updater, because Secure Updater will pop up on your screen and tell you if it's ready, if it needs to be updated or not. Secure Updater is a product that runs, it doesn't take the place of your antivirus, but it runs alongside your antivirus. And what it does is it automatically and silently updates all the third-party programs on your computer. So we all have Flash and Java and Adobe Reader, all these different programs, and we've all seen the pop-ups on our screens that say, "Oh, your version of this is outdated. Click here to update it." And the challenge is you don't know if that's a real pop-up, really from Adobe, really telling you that you're out of date and you should update, or if it's a scammer with some new way to infect your computer popping up on the screen, telling you, hey, click here to install this virus, new version of Java, and, get your computer infected. You infect yourself then. So how do you know which one is which? Well, the challenge is some of them are so good, looking at them, they all look the same to us even. And so Secure Updater takes the guesswork out of that. It automatically and silently installs all those third-party updates that you need. That way, when something pops up on your screen saying it needs to be updated, you know it's fake because you've already got the latest updates. So here's the deal. You can get Secure Updater. It's one of the few products that Schrock offers that's not actually on the Schrock website. And there's several reasons for that. We could go into that later, but we make Secure Updater, but you can get it at secureupdater.com. You can download a free 2-week trial. Install it on your computer. Let it get you up to date. If you think you're doing a good job, check it out with Secure Updater, and you may be surprised that you have a few things that you may have missed. The average user has 12 updates a week that they need to install on their computer. How many have you done this week? All right, 866-496-8772. When we come back, hang on the line, Jeffrey. Your call is coming up next in the third quarter of Compute This.
Update all of your third-party apps on your computer with Secure Updater. It keeps all your apps running smoothly and helps block viruses. Download it for free today at secureupdater.com. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive. Compute This pro tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases even your identity. Today's cybercriminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, but you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually, or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Karen McHugh. Reports say 2 of the boys trapped inside a flooded cave in Thailand have been rescued.
We are hearing from local media here in Thailand, in this particular area in Mae Sai, that those two boys, at least two boys, possibly more, have been successfully rescued. Reuters also pretty much saying the same thing, but citing a local official that two boys have been rescued. But again, no official word from any government agency.
Fox's Jeff Paul. The Secretary of State's Asian trek has now taken him to Hanoi. Addressing a group of business leaders from Vietnam and the U.S., he touted the improving relations with our former enemy.
In the past, we were opponents on the battlefield, but today our security relationship is all about cooperation.
Mike Pompeo is also in Japan and North Korea for continued denuclearization talks. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
We're adding a little more heat to the mix throughout the day today. High temperatures warming up into the lower 90s. We'll have plenty of sunshine once again, and thankfully a wind out of the southeast at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. Overnight, we cool off into the upper 60s, then head into the middle 90s on Monday. With Omaha's most accurate weather team, I'm 6 News meteorologist Brad Sugden on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I own the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. My voice is hanging in there for now. At this time, I plan on doing an aftershock. Unless my voice goes out completely, then you'll have to just sit and pretend like there's an aftershock. What is the aftershock, you ask? The aftershock is an exclusive, members-only experience. Membership only requires you to visit facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, where you can watch the show live. So when the show is over, when the hour is done and our time is gone, and we're changing our shoes and changing our sweater, that was actually a pretty good movie. I went out and saw Won't You Be My Neighbor a couple weeks ago. It was pretty good. I had no idea all that stuff about Mr. Rogers. But anyway, you know, when our time together is done and the trolley is coming back from make-believe land, we end this Facebook broadcast. Because Facebook can't seem to handle a microphone switch, we have to start a new Facebook broadcast. And when we start the new one, that's the aftershock. The lights get dimmed and the energy gets tuned up. And you can ask anything you want, whether related to technology. You can ask, you know, Thor, I know you don't know anything about tariffs, but if you want to ask me questions about tariffs and things I don't know anything about, that's great. You want to ask me about enterovirus? That's great. I can answer those questions too. I'm very experienced with that all of a sudden. But bottom line, guys, is it's just a fun little after the show is over, you can get a little bit more in depth. So we don't ever get through everything there is to cover. I've got so many stories here. I haven't even teased them all yet. But in the meantime, I asked people to call 866-496-8772. I even bribed them to call with a chance to win a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. And it would be wrong for me to not take Jeffrey's call at this point because Jeffrey's been on hold patiently, and I appreciate your time, Jeffrey. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Morning, Thor.
Morning.
Got a little situation here with my cell phone. I'm getting these pop-up messages, and they're those messages, if you know what I mean.
Gotcha. Viagra ads.
Yeah, and they are, and it says it's on my G drive, as in my Google Drive.
Okay.
So I go through, I track down there, and I can't find anything. Basically, it's like you delete the message, and then you can't find where it may have been. Whatever, close it or something like that. It's like, is there a way of trying to find out what's gone wrong there?
Okay.
Yeah, smile at me. I can see you now.
Oh, no. I'm thinking because, I'm thinking these are fake messages.
They
telling,
are.
They're telling you
they
that they want you to click a link or call an 800 number or something like that.
They want you to come look at them.
Yeah, so they're trying to infect your device.
Right.
So the question is, where are they coming from? So number one, most common place that you get fake pop-ups like this from are apps that you've installed on the device. From the legitimate apps from the App Store. What happens is a company makes a legitimate app, like a weather app, for example. And then there was an experiment that some college kids did with an app they made called Weather Fist. And they created a legit weather app called Weather Fist. And like 500,000 people downloaded it. Then they did an update to the app. And the update actually, it didn't actually infect people, but it did every step short of infecting them that would have infected them if they could have. And they found that people left the weather app on the phone, even though it was potentially infecting the device. Now, cell phones are wickedly difficult to infect unless they're unlocked and rooted, and if they were, you would know it because you would have had to pay someone to do that or do it yourself. So odds are here, there's some app that's installed on your phone that's generating pop-up ads. And these pop-up ads are being purchased by somebody else. So the app probably doesn't even know that these are the pop-ups that are appearing on your phone. They just know they're getting money from people clicking the ads. And so my guess is, have there any apps that you've installed on the phone in the past couple weeks? Anything new?
There might have been and stuff like that.
Okay.
Install these other things. So
Gotcha. So
basically, go through and clear out those.
yes, start by uninstalling whatever apps you've recently installed on the device. That's the first thing, because your Google Drive is not infected. But they know that if you have an Android phone, you're connected with Google and you have a Google Drive account because you have a Gmail account. So that's an easy way to convince people that there's an infection there and they need to tap the ad to do something. And when they tap the ad, there's so many vectors for getting money out of people. It could be, hey, tap here and then call the 800 number and we'll scan your phone, or tap here and install this app to clean up your phone. There could be so many different vectors for them to make money with this that you can't even count it. But start by uninstalling apps that you recently installed on the device. If that doesn't solve the problem, reboot the device afterward. If that doesn't solve the problem, then go through and uninstall. Just do a general cleaning. I do this on my phone once every few months, especially when I'm bored. I'll go through my phone and find any apps that I may have downloaded to try and then just forgot about, and I'll uninstall them from my phone just to remove them, just to clean house a little bit, and go through and do that next. And then if it still is happening, at that point, you might have to get a little more nuclear with it. We're looking at like a factory reset or something along those lines to blast it, to clean it out. I try to avoid that if I can, because it's a pain in the butt to get everything set back up again. But start off by removing the stuff that you've added recently since the problem started, and then work backward from there.
Okay.
All righty?
All right.
All right. Thanks for the call, Jeffrey. I appreciate it. And it was kind of funny when I said the Viagra ads. I realized that was like a pun within a pun, and I was like, oh golly, I didn't quite mean it like that, because they're always like, when it's that moment, because they can't say the stuff because it's like, they're advertising on the Disney Channel during like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and they're like, is it that moment? And the kids are like, it's hot dog time, yay! They're trying to reach the parents. They don't really advertise on the Disney Channel, but you've seen the ads. You know what I mean. We've talked about making a parody ad for the show. When it's that moment when you need to get on the computer, and it just doesn't work. Is your hard drive floppier than it used to be? Then it was like, then we could go through the whole parody, and at the end, like, if your computer won't shut down for 4 hours or longer, seek the assistance of a qualified technical support representative. We totally need to make one of these ads, but there's just no tasteful way to do it. There isn't. I mean, you don't appreciate how much advertising genius goes in to them making these ads that go on to like, A&E and stuff in the middle of like Law and Order. They don't say what they do, but there's women on the beach, and they're not provocatively dressed. They're very tastefully dressed. And there's lightly pepper gray bearded men that look very fit, aside from their one problem, that the little blue pill. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm asking for a friend. You heard the radio ads. I'm asking for a friend. Does this really work? My friend wants to know, and you could ship it directly to my friend's house. Wow. Yeah, tell your friend. Yeah, I mean, come on. So there's so many different ways we could do it, but there's just no tasteful way to pull it off. 866-496-8772. Oh, golly. There's just no safe way to have that conversation. All right. Let's venture into something that I'm a little more familiar with here. Gosh, see, that's even bad. All right. Phone apps. We were talking about apps, and Jeffrey was talking about things popping up on his phone that were causing infection messages, let's say. So these phone apps, they aren't secretly listening to your calls. A lot of people wonder, are these, are people listening to me or watching what I'm doing through my cameras on my phone or whatever? The apps that you're downloading on your phones, they're not doing those things. The privacy settings prohibit them from doing those things. What they are doing, however, is collecting information on how you use the app so that they can improve the functionality of the app in the future. So there might be heat mapping. Heat mapping is a process. We use this in Schrock Interactive uses this all the time for SEO. This is why we know what side of the screen to put your account login on. People look in the top right-hand corner for account login. If we move it into the top left-hand corner, We can see people madly moving their mouse. It records where your mouse is at on the screen and how long you leave it there, what you hover over. And it's called heat mapping. And then we get big dots on the map for how long your mouse was here, there, or everywhere. So we can see eventually you're clicking on the account, but you're looking everywhere for it and you can't find it. So we know it goes in the top right corner. So there's heat mapping. Now the question is, there's also screenshotting. So what some of these apps are doing is they're taking screenshots of your device and then sending that information back to the app developers in order for them to determine what you were doing in an app at a particular moment in time. That maybe if you stayed on a screen too long, they took a screenshot. There must be something confusing about this screen because the average person spent 0.4 seconds longer on this screen than other screens. What's harder about this screen to use than other screens? So there's all this aggregate data that no one really thinks about. You don't think about that they're taking screenshots and sending them over to, over the phone to the app developers. But the question is, what's in the background of those screenshots? A lot of us, I have a Note 8. I can split screen my phone and have something on one half and something on the other half. What's in the background, or my signal strength, or my email, or my alerts, or my notification bars? You can really learn a lot about a person over time by watching these things on their phone. So researchers are finding that the apps are not using your phone's microphone, but they're watching what you do on the screen. This is from ZDNet. Gizmodo is reporting that researchers from Northeastern University who analyzed 17,000 popular Android apps found that none of them activates the microphone and sends out audio without a user prompt. Of course, that doesn't mean apps aren't secretly listening to you through your phone's mic, but if they are, they found no evidence of it. The researchers nonetheless say they have found alarming privacy risks in the Android ecosystem after discovering some apps share image and video data with third parties without the user consenting to it. Over 9,000 of the 17,000 apps in the study have camera and microphone permissions. The researchers used 10 Android phones to look at the traffic generated when the software interacted with the apps. And what they found was that the apps are transmitting screen recordings and video recordings of what people are doing with the software, which means they're filming your screen in real time, what you're swiping on, what you're touching. One of the apps displays the behavior is GoPuff, a food delivery app, which records how the user interacts with the app and sends data for analytics. GoPuff's app uses Appsy's analytics library, which is a tool. So there's a whole library. So if you're an app developer, you don't even have to write the software to record the screen. You just get this library and stick it in your app and it works. That process is risky when users are interacting with a page that they've used to enter personal or financial details. So, for example, let's say you're using an app. Well, last week we picked on Ticketmaster because they had a breach. I don't want to pick on them again. Well, what do you use your app for? Let's say you're getting an Uber and you're putting your payment information into your Uber app, and they're taking recordings as you type on the screen, right? So it's getting your whole screen. When you press a key on your keyboard, that key pops up big to indicate, hey, you pressed the letter K, you pressed the letter I. Well, and of course, the password appears on the screen as asterisk, but if you're recording the entire password session, you literally recorded the person typing their password, and if you use that password in several other places, you may have gotten that user's banking password, for example. So they're seeing that as a privacy risk. So right now they're working closely with these apps to ensure developers are appropriately communicating the functionality within their end user apps that it records video. Which, in other words, we're going to tell you we're doing it, but we're not going to do it. The thing to do here would be like when you're interfacing with the keyboard in a username and password scenario or a payment screen, video recording should be prohibited. But unfortunately, that requires some recoding, so we're probably not going to see that for a little while. But eventually, that's where it's going to go. So nothing to get super alarmed about at this point. But when you're talking about, the last caller here is like, hey, I'm getting these pop-ups. Phone security is becoming an increasingly sensitive area. And the infection vectors are completely different than what we've seen on PCs. You don't get viruses. Like, that's why when he called in, he said he was watching me. He said he could see me smiling. It's because he's not infected. It's incredibly hard to infect a phone. But you can socially engineer behavior. You can get something that you give permissions to record your screen that could then learn your password, that could be used if that, for example, is your Google password to buy in-app purchases. Your kids come, Mommy, buy me this outfit for my guy. So you buy the outfit when you type in your Google password for payment. That's your Gmail password, guys. That's your Google account password. That's your photo backup password. Oh, wow. How do Paris Hilton's pictures get leaked on the internet? There you go. That's how people get passwords. 866-496-8772. All right, got to take our quick break, final break on the show here. So we're going to take this last break real quick, and then when we come back, Gary, who forgot why he called, and Marilyn with maintenance questions. Your calls are coming up next on Compute This.
Now you can configure and purchase laptops, desktops, tablets, and more, all at the new SchrockInnovations.com. Check out our specials for one-of-a-kind discounts and deals. Some people like desktops for their power and upgradability, but nothing rivals a laptop for computing on the go. But why should you have to sacrifice performance for portability? The innovators at Schrock want our customers to have it all, so we created a new kind of laptop, the solid-state laptop from Schrock Innovations. Solid-state laptops are built using the same frame and mainboards as regular laptops, but we've removed half of the moving parts while more than doubling the computer's speed. The result? Laptops that boot to Windows in 6 seconds or less, respond instantly to your commands, and can survive drops that put most laptops into the data recovery lab. Starting at only $499, solid-state laptops give you speed, reliability, durability, and performance for the same price most people pay for a cheap disposable laptop. The next time you're looking for a laptop, check out the solid-state laptops at SchrockInnovations.com or visit any of our service centers. Simple, solid, fast technology is what we do at Schrock. Compute This pro tip number 187. Recently, you may have received a phone call from someone claiming to be from Microsoft or had a message pop up on your screen telling you that your computer was infected. Do not respond to these calls or messages. They're always a scam. Microsoft will never call you about your computer. Here's how the scam actually shakes out. You get the phone call that your computer's infected. The scammers hit you with some mumbo-jumbo about an infected IP address. They'll ask your permission to connect and help you fix it. Once they're in your computer, they do a bunch of fake scans that detect a lot of problems that really aren't there. You see the scan results and figure, your computer's in trouble. Next, the scammers will demand up to $400 to clean up the computer and set you up with a lifetime protection. Don't fall for the scam. Keep good security software installed, like Endpoint and Secure Updater, so when things like this do happen, you know you are covered. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
All right, guys, welcome back in. Fourth quarter. We are going to wrap this sucker up in this segment. 866-496-8772 for those of you waiting for the last segment to call the show when I may or may not have time to get you on the air. That'd be great. Now, granted, Gary and Marilyn both called before the fourth quarter announcement. So, you know, we were talking during the break here. If you're watching on Facebook, you probably saw me like gesticulating and animating and talking. We were just discussing how there are so many funny things that we could do on this show. Like, for example, wouldn't it be great? Like, you can go on, there's a website called Fiverr where you buy things for $5, okay? And you can buy like gigs for $5. So there are Trump voice impersonators on Fiverr that will do 16 words in Trump's voice for $5. So we could literally send a script over to this place and they would record all the responses and then I could interview Trump about his tariffs and we could have a really funny segment with Trump on our show, right? But we would immediately tick off half the audience because you can't talk about Trump at all without ticking off half the people listening. No matter what you say, if it's too negative, then you make people angry. If it's too positive, then you make people angry. And nobody can just laugh at it and have genuine fun with it, you know? So I was like, maybe I need a big red hat that says "Make computing great again." Because I'm like, yeah, I'm watching the Facebook feed and I was joking. I was like, I watched the viewers just cut right in half. When I said MAGA, half the viewers gone, just like that. It was like the rapture happened or something. It was like Avengers all over again. You see Ant-Man and Wasp, you'll know what I'm talking about. Stay for the after credits. 866-496-8772. All right. So was that Gary? Was the new caller, or did we lose Gary? Yeah, Gary dropped off. He's back. Gary dropped and he's back. Gary's back. Welcome back to Compute This, Gary. How can I help you today?
On my PC, since the new Windows 10 update came out.
Okay.
It's been wanting me to download Chrome.
Okay.
And it gets very consistent, but I haven't downloaded it because several times I started to do it. There's additions that want to be added on to, need to be approved to add on.
Right.
The Chrome. And some of them are from the Mideast.
Interesting. Yeah, so basically Google Chrome doesn't really jump up in your face and ask you to install it on the computer. It doesn't pop up itself. So something else is popping up asking you to install Google Chrome. Now Google does pay third-party companies. So for example, when you get your Shockwave update for your Shockwave player, which allows you to see some media on the internet. If you just click next, finish, there's a little checkbox in there, and they have a whole host of people that pay them. So the first one is Chrome, and because Google pays the most, like $1 per person that installs it. So if you don't have Google Chrome installed, it's going to ask you to install Chrome. And if you click next, finish, it installs Chrome. If you have a Chrome already, then it'll ask you to install McAfee's antivirus shield. If you have that, it'll ask you to install Norton's antivirus shield. And they're all just junk programs, basically, except for Chrome. Chrome's useful, but all the other ones are just junk programs that they're getting paid to install on your computer, which is why they really don't like it when we do things like with Secure Updater, where we silently and automatically install these updates, because we strip all that stuff out, and they don't get the bling, you see? They don't get the money for making the updates, which is a revenue stream for them, but that's fine. We haven't got a cease and desist on it yet. If you've heard of a popular software called Ninite, the Ninite actually does this kind of updating work. You have to do it kind of manually, but they don't even do Adobe products anymore because Adobe asked them to stop, because Adobe wants to get the money from the updates. We're not big enough for that yet. We don't get the C&Ds yet, but at some point we will, I'm sure. But until that point, we'll keep updating the software and cutting out that third-party garbage off the middle for you. So my guess is there's some other product that's trying to install this update on your computer. So next time it pops up, if you could take a screenshot, it's really easy to do, to take a screenshot of your screen. Just hit the print screen button on your keyboard. It's usually in the kind of the middle right at the top. Hit print screen, and then you can paste that into an email, and then send that to us. And we can take a look at the window you're seeing, and usually just by looking at it, we can tell you what's going on. So next time you have that happen, you send that in to us. You can send it to, depending on which service center, support at Schrock Innovations for Lincoln, Omaha support for Omaha, Papillion support for Papillion. You can send that into one of the service centers. We're happy to take a look at it and then go through with it. And if you're listening outside the geographical area of Nebraska, don't let that slow you down. We're here to help you out too. Now, one of the things is the show is airing on more and more radio stations. And as that happens, we're going to have people from outside of the Omaha metro and Nebraska area calling into the program and asking for help in the service centers and things like that. I encourage you to use us, because we're using that data of who is using us from where to decide where to put our next service centers, guys. We're expanding. We want to open 5 service centers in the next 6 years, and in 5 geographically diverse locations. So as a result, one of the things we have to do to get that level of growth is we have to get good people. We have to get them in, and we have to get them trained, because we're going to be relocating some of our veterans to run these new service centers when the time comes. So I want to welcome Matt in Lincoln. Matthew is a young guy in Lincoln. He's a junior technician who has just come on board. He's finished, I think, a week and a half of training now, and he did his first on-site this week. It was kind of a pinch situation. We needed someone to go. He said, "I'm comfortable doing it. I can do it," and he went and did it. And the customer was absolutely thrilled with the level of service. Now, he did forget to collect payment, so there are still some training issues we have to go over there. But nevertheless, the important part is he got the customer's needs taken care of and got everything done and done well. So welcome, Matt in Lincoln. We appreciate it. And Parker in Omaha. Let me tell you a story about Parker. Parker's a new guy in Omaha. Just amazing. He texted his boss last week. Now, we had 2 guys. Kyle, everybody knows Kyle in Omaha. So Kyle was working there with Parker, and Summer was at the front desk, and there was a customer who needed something done at their house. And Omaha doesn't usually do on-sites, but this guy was located like a block away from the Omaha Service Center. It didn't make sense to dispatch from Papillion. So Kyle said, "I'm just going to go help this guy real quick. Parker, it's kind of slow in here. We're caught up on stuff. You got Summer up front. You've been here for a couple weeks. You can handle it for an hour, okay? I'm going to go over there." So he did. And Parker finished all the work that was there to do, and he sent me a text, and he said, "I've finished the work that Kyle gave me to do, and I did clean. I swept and mopped and wiped the benches down and stuff like that needed to be cleaned. Is there any other work I could do? I don't want to waste training hours." Come on, give me a handful of those guys. I mean, that was amazing. I'm like, you know what? The one thing that we never have time to do? Preventative maintenance on our own computers. So do it. Clean up our own computers and our servers in the service center, make them run really well. let's take this opportunity to do that. He said, all right, great. And he did it. So it was pretty cool stuff. So welcome aboard to Parker as well in Omaha. This afternoon, I'm going to be reviewing Indeed applications for a new front desk position that is going to bounce between the Omaha and Papillion locations. So if you're interested in front desk work, technical skills are not required, but you will be cultivated over time. You can apply. We have an ad up on Indeed for that right now, Indeed.com. Also, we are hiring a technician in the Lincoln Service Center. So if you are a computer technician looking for work, even if you're a junior technician looking to develop the skill sets required, I have to tell you, we just got cleaned out by a company in Lincoln. Literally, they hired our entire staff out of the Lincoln Service Center. I had to transfer technicians from Omaha. They had to permanently relocate Drake from Omaha to Lincoln because they hired everybody. So companies in Nebraska especially know that when you work for Schrock for a long time, there's a reason you work for Schrock for a long time, and you're worth a lot of money. More money than I could pay, apparently. 866-496-8772. Good job on you guys. You guys know who you are that moved on, and we appreciate it. All right, Marilyn with maintenance questions. Let me squeeze Marilyn in real quick. Marilyn, you have a question on maintenance. How can I help you on that?
Okay, on maintenance, I was one of those that didn't get a notice about you having reduced price maintenance going on. So, oh well. But I also heard you talking about Gmail. I switched because you talked about Yahoo here 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. I thought, I better get away from Yahoo because that Mr. Schrock said so.
Oh, yeah. All right, so here she's coming back on me. All right, she's coming back on me. So here's the deal. Whether you use Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook.com free email like Hotmail, no matter what you use, if it's free web-based email, they are reading your email because that's how they make money. So it doesn't matter which one you use. They're all the same. Now, Yahoo is particularly bad because they're financially distressed. Gmail is one of the safer ones, and that's one of the stories I didn't get a chance to get to here on the air. So stay tuned for the After Schrock coming up next here on Facebook. So facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. You don't have to have a Facebook account to watch the show. You can just go there and watch it. You don't have to actually give Facebook any of your information. Congratulations, Gary. You're the winner of a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Christine will get a hold of you on Monday to get that out to you. And we'll see you again next weekend for another exciting edition of Compute This.